Hello. I'm so happy to be with you to talk about moving our fears to excitement. Yes, it's possible. Totally possible. We think it's not. Hey, Lindsay, I'm so glad you're here with me. We think that it's not possible to move fear to excitement because we just get all bogged down in our fears and we think we don't have choice, but we do. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm also going to give you a movement, a simple movement that you can do to move your fears toward excitement. So Lindsay says, hello, beautiful. Hello back. I loved your 4th of July picture, by the way. You are radiant, like simply glowing. And it's so beautiful to see. So I'm just going to take a little side note and talk a moment about Lindsay because I haven't actually officially met Lindsay, so it's all online, but we have this really great relationship. And she does the practices. And I watched her from January go from, I'm going to just say it, Lindsay, heavy and stuck and afraid. She would have definitely said depressed, to this radiant, amazing being where she's like shed weight and heaviness and her skin is glowing. She's just, like I said to begin with, radiant. And it's been such an amazing process for me to witness. So thank you, Lindsay, for trusting me, for doing the movements. And she was our Lighten Up program tester. So if you guys haven't looked at Lighten Up, go to my homepage of my website, agelessmovemore.com, and look at it. Amazing, amazing program we put together, and so many people are changing because of it. But Lindsay was our first tester, and she just, whoa, has changed. So let's see. Hey, Sandy, I'm so glad you're here. And Lindsay says, yep, brand new person. It kind of is like watching that, like you were somebody else and then you just shed off all of this stuff that didn't work for you anymore and you were reborn and you can see it. It's like the photos are amazing. Anyway, I got stuck on Lindsay. But changing our fears to excitement is one way to really take our power back. When we are stuck in fears, we feel powerless, hopeless, like everything's going to stay the same way that it is forever and ever, amen. And then we're just going to be there feeling afraid. And afraid makes us pull in. And as we pull in, we grow heavy because fear is a heavy energy. In fact, it's one of the heaviest energies that there is. So when we go into fear, even our body language on fear is to pull in because it is a contraction of our iliopsoas and psoas muscles. So our iliopsoas is the fear muscle and it runs right here beside our inner hip. And then we have our psoas that runs up along the outer edge of our belly, connects to T11 or T12. But when we're afraid, those muscles contract. Iliopsoas bringing our knees in toward our chest. I could do it that way. And I'm just sitting here, so I'm bringing my chest down toward my knees. And then my psoas pulls my upper back and my chest even more down. So I'm curling into a little ball. And the purpose of our psoas muscle, the fear muscle, is to protect our soft underbellies. So like when we are living in the jungle and a jaguar is coming after us, if we curl into a little ball, then we aren't going to get our belly ripped open by the jaguar. So it's smart for us to have these fear muscles. But what happens is we get stuck in our fears. So let's just say, because this is really common in our world, because Jaguars aren't, that we're driving on the freeway and someone tries to get over and you're in that lane. This happens over and over again, right? And you're like, whoa, fear. If you notice next time you're on the freeway, these muscles, the iliopsoas and the psoas will grab. You'll get a jerk like that. And it's still trying to protect your soft underbelly, because our brains don't really realize the difference between, something coming at us and able to, rip us open, or something coming at us that can hurt us in other ways. It just knows protect itself, which is curl into a little ball. It's a very primitive reaction found at the very base of our brain. And most beings have it, even insects. So we're reacting from a very primitive place. But when that happens, like someone tries to sideswipe us and we react in fear, then we don't know what to do with it. Like we're stuck in it, because we are pretty much emotionally illiterate people walking around here, because we've had this masculine power over energy for 5,000 years. And emotions are feminine. And so we weren't taught emotions. We were taught how to think. We were, told go to college and learn statistics, learn to pull apart our language and reassemble it, that sort of thing. And that all takes our brain. But our emotions are our innate, our body's way of sensing the world. And fear is in our sensory being. And so we have to come back to feeling, to understanding our feelings, to release fear and open up to excitement. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I wanted to see who else joined us. Oh, hey, Sandrina, glad you're here. Oh, Nancy Turner, yay. Veronica, glad you're here. I was just in Big D. And, oh, Maria, yay. And Barbara Pittman, yay. So glad you guys are all here with me today. So back to talking about emotional illiteracy. So we have to begin to feel our feelings and honor them. Most of us have pushed them down, pushed them away, stuffed them. Or run away from them. So what happens when we do that is they get stuck, because when we're having a feeling, it's not going to just go away when we just push it away. It's going to get stuck in there in our bodies. The brain uses our body as an emotional dumping ground, meaning the brain goes, we're not going to feel fear, and it just dumps it into the body. Fear in the iliopsoas, and it's a contraction. So what we have to do is go in with our ball work, right? So, I always have a ball around somewhere. We go in and we work on our iliopsoas and our psoas muscle, and we work through. So we'll just do that. So get your big ball, place it to the inside of your right hip bone, and just roll in towards your pubic bone and back towards your hip bone, back and forth in there, and you'll find your iliopsoas muscle. When it goes, you're on it. And you breathe, and you release your fear. Just consciously letting go. We don't even have to remember what caused it, like something chasing us in the jungle, probably not. Someone sideswiping us in the car, probably. And just releasing it. Right side is releasing outer world fear, someone trying to run into us. So we just breathe it, and we let go, and we go down to the top of our quads and breathe out the fear. It's that simple. Then when we've gone down, we go back up very slowly. And by the way, I do this every single day, because I hook into fears from the day before. And I might not even be conscious of them, but if I consciously release them, I'm free from them. So I roll back up to that hip bone, and then I go along the outer edge of that pelvic rim to the outside of my belly. I turn just a little bit, and I rock and roll there, because the psoas has a major and a minor, so meaning two muscles right here on the outer edge of your belly. And you just breathe out, in through the nose, breathing in through the nose, out through your mouth, saying ha. And you can release the fear held here. Now I just sit and breathe right where my ribs and my outer edge of my belly meet. And that's where my psoas tucks under my ribs and attaches anteriorly at T11, T12. It's the only way I can access that bit of my psoas. So I just stay there and breathe a bit. And I just consciously let go of fear as I say ha. And the energy vibration of ha, aloha, means the breath of the divine. So I'm just giving my fears to the divine. Then what I like to do is go along the edge of my rib cage, all along there. That's my diaphragm. I'm accessing my diaphragm, and I breathe in and I breathe out as I do that. You can join me and you'll feel it. It's really intense. As I breathe in, I push into the ball. As I breathe out, I let the ball push into me. Opening my jaw. So I go along my right rib cage, taking as long as I need to. And then I go down the left, right beside my rib cage, not on it. Do not go on your ribs. They can pop out. I go right up to it. And then I'm releasing these stuck feelings where my brain, stuck fears, where my brain has said, hang on there. This stuff can be held on to for years and years. Some of you may be hanging on to fears from years and years ago, especially if you don't do the ball work yet. You're gonna now, right? And you go to the bottom of your rib cage on that left side, and you always move from right to left, by the way, because that's the way our intestines empty. So if you do any belly work, always move from right to left. And I keep going down that outer edge of my belly till I get right beside my hip bone. Now I'm in my left iliopsoas. Left is the fear of myself, me being afraid of myself. So I just know that, and I release that fear. I breathe it out through my mouth saying, ha. And I breathe in the new energy, I like to call it love, in through my nose. And I just keep going down until I end up back at the top of my quad. And that little trip every day releases old held fear. So then I'm not contracted up in a old fear reaction. So hopefully this is making sense. Hey, Karen Anderson. Hello, hello. Hillary, glad you're here. So when I've released old fears, I don't even need to know what they are. I just breathe them free. Then I'm free. And I have a choice whether I want to grab back on or not. Now, it may seem like I don't have a choice. But when I know something's about to happen that I'm afraid of, then I can really go to work. So like recently, I've talked about it a little bit. I was going to speak to a large group of people that I hadn't met, and they were my peers. And so I was starting to have some fear. And so I could prepare myself to go into that situation without fear. How did I do it? Well, the ball work. And then I give you my practice that I did this week in the Ageless Movement Practices at agelessmovemore.com. But I'm going to give you one of those poses that I did to release my fear. And it is probably my favorite one. And so it's called Warrior One. It's the first warrior pose. And the warriors teach us how to, Warrior One, open our hearts. Warrior Two, focus. Warrior Three, balance. And when I practice the warriors, I'm not in fear anymore. And when I'm not in fear, I can choose to go to excitement, because fear and excitement feel a lot the same to the body. We have the same response to fear as we do to excitement. Think about that for a minute. Wow. So I can choose to name whatever I'm afraid of. In this case, it was speaking to a large amount of people that were strangers. I can name it excitement. When I do these practices that give me a pause, I get out of my fear cycle, get rid of the old stuff, practice opening my heart, focusing and balancing, and then I can be like, whoa, I can choose to be excited. I can call this excitement. And that's what I hope you begin to learn with this week's Ageless Movement practice. So let's right now do Warrior One together. Okay, you with me? All you need is your mat or just the floor. And hopefully you can see me. I set this up earlier. Oop, I need to pull the screen up just a little bit. Boop. Let's see if you can see my head now. Barely. Let me pull it up a little bit more. So what you're going to do is just get your mat or a piece of floor, and you're going to stand. And we're going to take our posture, which, you know, most of you know it by now, but I'm going to go over it, feet inner hip width apart. So I line up from the inside of my hip bones. And then as I go down and look at my feet, I'm pushing into the outer edge of my heels and I'm lifting my toes. So I have arches in my feet. And I want to keep that. I'm going to go sideways because this poses better seen sideways. Now, I'm also then going to drop my tail straight down. I pat out my butt cheeks because if I'm gripped in the butt cheeks, I can't drop my tail down. So once I release my butt cheeks, my tail's down, my ribs drop in toward my body and down toward my pelvic bowl. Then I roll my inner arms out and squeeze my scapula together and my head and neck are loose and free. Then I find my breath, breathing in and out of my belly. When I'm not afraid, I can fully breathe in and out of my belly. My diaphragm works. My iliopsoas muscles are not pulling me in, so I'm crunching in on my belly. It's awesome. Now when I'm here, all I'm going to do is step my right foot back just a little bit. Maybe I go until my back heel becomes light. So maybe I have about 3 feet. We do our poses way too wide apart if you take yoga classes. For years, I did it that way, and it's too much. I'm not open enough to do that, and most of us aren't. So now I'm going to push into that back heel, push into my front heel, square my hips so they're facing forward. My tail is down, my ribs are in. And then I'm going to bend my front knee just slightly. And once I'm here, I'm going to really roll my inner arms out and open the space of my heart, head and neck loose and free. Then I'm going to inhale my arms up as if I'm being held up. Like, oh, it's a hold up. Good. I'm going to drop my tail down as I exhale. Inhale, I'm lifting my sternum, opening my heart as I draw my elbows back and down. Exhale, I drop my tail. Inhale, I open my heart. Now when I do this pose, I'm releasing fear right here in front of my leg of others, and I'm opening my heart to whatever I'm afraid of, and I'm calling it, I'm excited about it versus I'm afraid of it. So whatever's coming at me in the outer world, once I come out of this, I'm no longer afraid of whatever that thing was. I'm like, yeah, bring it on. I'm excited. Whoa. Now let's try the other side. So I'm back, feet inner hip width apart, pushing into the outer edge of my heels. My tail drops, ribs in and down, roll my inner arms out, head and neck loose and free. I inhale. Exhale, I step my left foot back. I step my left foot back until my back heel becomes light. So again, it's not very far for most of us. And make sure you keep your feet hip width distance apart to where you might fall over. Then I push into both outer edges of heels, slightly bend my front knee, tail down, ribs in, really roll my inner arms out, head and neck loose and free. Inhale my arms up like I'm being held up. Inhale, open my heart. Exhale, drop my tail. Inhale, open my heart as I draw my elbows back and down. Inhale, open my heart. Exhale, drop my tail. Inhale, open my heart. Exhale, drop my tail. Now I'm releasing fear of myself, anything that I'm afraid of within myself. And as I do that, I open my heart to me, to that part of me that's coming toward me, either reflected in others or what I see within myself. And I accept it. I embrace it. I'm excited about it. Even if it's a challenge, I'm like, I can handle that. I can take that on. Ha, ha, ha. And then when I've transformed my fear into excitement, as I step forward and drop out, I feel excited about my life. I'm not afraid. Awesome, right? So let's see. Oh, Sandy, Yinkle, glad you're here. Valerie, yay, good to see you guys. Or, well, happy you're seeing me. Nancy Turner, love that. Sending my fears excitement. Instead of constricting inward, I expand outward. Yes, that's it, Nancy. That is it. All we have to remember is to do the ball work, release the fear every day, because fear is one of those things, like, we are not going to be without it in this world. We're going to come upon something many, many times a day where our iliopsoas and our psoas grabs on. So just every day, counter that by going in and releasing it. I like to do it in the morning so that I start my day where I'm not crunched in fear, and then I'm not reacting in fear. And then if I do this practice that I give you this week, then whatever's coming to me, I remind myself, open my heart to it. Love whatever's coming toward me. Get excited about it. Then the next warrior is focus. And I focus on loving it, being excited about it. And then warrior 3 is balance. And I find the balance in my excitement. Because I can go running off towards something too really quick because I'm an Aries and I have lots of fire. I do that a lot of times. So I have to just be like, okay, be patient. Let it flow in its own time. Don't force anything. And you guys all have to find your balance in different ways, right? Okay, so any questions or comments about this, Lindsay? The minute I named and spoke my fears out loud, I was able to start changing, right? We cannot change until we address our fears. We cannot. And Lindsay was able to name hers, which is really powerful. But if you're at a place where you can't even name it, you just know you hold it, just acknowledge it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm carrying on this life holding so much fear. And then do the ball work and release it. Let's see. Any tips to drop hips down and release the bum? Bum stays tight. Oh, yeah. Do I have any tips for that? Of course, you know that, girlfriend. Well, you know step 1, the ball in your ass. And I know you know that one really, really, really well. And I do that every day too, because control, and that's what Karen's talking about, gets us. Oh, man. I believe, out of our fears are big time control freaks, right? So then the other thing that I do every day too is this one where I lay on my back and I'm going to put my right ankle onto my left knee and draw my left knee toward my chest. And I just rock back and forth and open my butt cheek. I'll do both sides. I do that every day. But then as I go about my day, if I'm sitting a lot, I'll sit on the edge of a chair, place my ankle on my knee, push this is my right knee, just gently down and draw my chest toward my knee. So if I had a sitting job or I did, was just went to a movie and sat for a long time, I would be sitting toward the edge of my chair and doing this multiple times. I do. If you ever go to a movie or something with me or around me a lot, I love doing this. Airplane ride, a lot. Then, if you're out walking around or you're not sitting a whole lot, then you do that just standing. So you find your posture, feet inner hip width apart, tail down, ribs in and down, roll your inner arms out, head and neck loose and free. And then you just bring your ankle over to your knee and you come forward. And draw that chest towards your knee this way, head and neck loose and free. and release that tension. And then when you stand up, you can drop that tail more. Now, the other piece about dropping the tail is the work that we're doing this week and releasing fear, releasing the iliopsoas. So doing those in combination is the answer. All right. Let's see, Sandy. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Oh, yeah. So here's the other piece. So most of you know that I'm like in love with this practice of Ho'oponopono, and that's just what Sandy was expressing. And so it's a very simple thing. And you start out, I do an I love you sandwich. So I start out saying, I love you, Michelle. And then I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're afraid, that you've hooked into fear. Then I say, and I say that to myself, and I say to me and the universe, please forgive me. Please forgive me for getting caught up in fear. And please forgive me, universe, for forgetting in my fear that this is an amazing, wonderful universe of love and excitement. And then I say thank you to me and to the universe for having these wonderful tools that I can use to move myself continuously from fear to excitement. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for doing them. Thank you, universe, for providing them. And then I say, I love you. I love you. For moving your fear into excitement. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. You're so wonderful. I've really enjoyed being with you today. So here's the challenge. Take whatever you're afraid of, if you consciously know what it is, and do this week's ageless movement practice around it and notice what happens. Notice what happens, how it changes you. And let me know about it in our private Facebook page. And if you don't have a moment to do the practice right now, at least from this ball work that we did today, notice and let me know how it goes. All right. Thanks, all of you, for being with me. Love you. Bye.